today. That happens a lot. We know this. Oh, okay. So today is what does the Vixen say? I'm sorry that there hasn't been vlogs. A couple days, a couple weeks. We've been bouncing around. Last Sunday was Fallout 76's beta, so I streamed that instead. But we should be back on track now. So, what does the Vixen say? So this is a question that was asked of me, not in contents to a vlog. It was just asked of me on my Facebook, and it was, did you ever play marriage games when you were a kid? Not like, did you pretend to be married? Because I'm sure we all have done that at some point in time, like have a wedding and whatever. I remember that when I was small, my brother and I would portray mom and dad kind of thing. But I think what, more like, so there used to be games that you could do to figure out who you were going to marry, and like a little fortune thing. So how it would work is you pick 4 people, and I'll just pick 4 people. Not saying I want to marry anybody, just explaining how it works. So there would be, we'll do Roger, and we can do Felix, and we can do, I don't know, we can do Mary, and we can do Eliza. Because nowadays you don't have to have just 4 boys or 4 girls. But when I was a kid, it was absolutely had to be all males and all females. And then you would pick, you draw a piece of paper. So, I don't have a piece of paper. Oh, yes, I do. So we'll get a piece of paper here. Right, so we got our piece of paper. And you would draw a square. Like that. See, square. And you'd put the people's names on one side, right? So we have Roger. We have Felix. We have Eliza. I said Mary, but I don't know Mary. And we have Logan for Wolverine. Right? Because I don't want to insult anybody. I don't want to put anybody else, any other Discord people. These guys, I think, would be okay with it. Okay, then you'd put the kind of where you want to live. Down here. So, you might put Ireland. You might put Canada. I have to do that because that's where Felix lives. You might put Colorado. That's where I live. I don't really want to live in Colorado, though. Where's another place I'd like to live? Sweden. Without staying cold. I never leave my house. Then you put the kind of house you might want to be in, like a cottage. Because, you know, life's all about money. Mansion. Sometimes, though, you had to put things you didn't like. Same thing over here in the guys. You put guys you didn't like. Because that was the fun of it, was that you might end up with somebody you didn't like. Let's see. A train. I want to live in a train. Or a bus. Or how about a boat? Living on a boat would be kind of fun. Then you'd, up here, you might put, how much money you make. Yeah, I know, this is elaborate, but, you know, when you're a kid, so, maybe you want to make, it was always hard for me, because I was never good at how much people made, so I had to always take it, like, how my dad made money, and he made, like, he probably made about $6,000 a month, so, that's what, 72,000 a year, probably not as much now, a drop and a hat. I don't make that much, but maybe. So we could put that down. 72. $1 million. Because everybody wants to make $1 million a year. We'll do $100. Because who could live on $100 a year? Well, some places they probably live at $100 a year. Because I was watching this thing where they showed the changeover for how much people spend on a meal for one day. And in places like Sudan, I think it was like $50 for the whole day. Oh, maybe it was less than that. It was really strange. Because it's hard to imagine that the cost of things change from place to place. And I'm not saying because of the US dollar, but I'm just saying that, like, in certain places, you know, the money exchange rate, you know, a candy bar is like 50,000 of it. Whereas In other places, a candy bar could be like 50 cents worth. Like here candy bars are about 75 cents to $1, depending on the size of the candy bar. So that's really kind of weird. And no money. We're just going to live off the land kind of thing. Then up here, you'd probably put how many children you wanted. So, like, maybe 1, maybe 12, maybe 0, maybe 2. 2 seems like a good age, right? And then the kind of car you wanted to have. Right? What kind of car did you want to have? So we put Mustang, Corvette. I mean, you could get as elaborate as you wanted here. I think I used to get these huge boxes going on, you know. So, and then, let's see. I don't know, Corvette. What else do you think? I don't know. My brain's like dead. How about a bug? A bug's always fun to have. And then camper. Though I suppose if I had a camper as a car, I wouldn't need a house, would I? Anyway, then you do this elaborate thing to come up with numbers. And I don't remember what it was. So we'll just do my birth date, which is 6 plus 5 equals 11. And then 11 could be 1 plus 1, which equals 2. So, and then you start at, you kind of do, and we're going to start at the car, and we go 1, 2. We cross that one out. 1, 2. We cross that one out. Poor Roger. 1, 2. We cross that one out. No, Eliza. 1, 2. What is that one? Oh, we're not going to Ireland. 1, 2. We're not going to Colorado, which makes sense since we got rid of Roger. 1, 2. 2 is probably not a good one. We're not living in a cottage. We're not living on a train. Well, we're not going to be poor, but we're not going to be rich either. Got rid of $1 million. We're not having 1 child. We're not having 0 children. We're not having a Mustang. See, and then we go like this, so. Okay, so we're going to end up owning a Corvette. Well, that's a plus, huh? A Corvette doesn't really put too many people in it. And we're going to end up marrying Felix. Sorry, Felix. And then we're going to go, we're going to live in Canada. Well, that makes sense because we had Felix, right? You guys have seen the humor in this, right? We're not living in a boat. We're going to live in a mansion. And we're going to make $100 a year. So I'm not really sure how we're going to be living in a mansion, but maybe he owned the mansion to begin with, right? And we're going to have 12 children. See? So, yeah, I used to play marriage games. So that's one of them. Another one that you used to do, of course, was, this one is kind of, actually, I didn't know at the time, but is very common. So, it's, you take an apple. There's 2 ways you do this. One apple is you put it in your mouth and you eat as much of the apple in 1 bite as you can. And then you twirl, and then that's how many pieces of apple that was. So, like, you know, because you don't really eat a whole long apple. So if you're like, and that would be like, I'll say 7. So I did 7 bites to eat the apple. 7, and then I would figure it, then you write down 7. And you go through the alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. I don't know. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 would be G. And then you would figure out who you knew that had a letter G in your name. In their name. I don't know anybody with a letter G in their name. I mean, the only person I ever knew was my father. So, that's it. But you can also do that with the apple core. You put you hold on to the apple core and you spin it. And however many spins it took to get, you pull it off. Let's say it took 13. You go through the alphabet. You think out who it was you knew. And that's the person that you would end up with. That one's an actually kind of old one. We used to do the cootie catcher thing. Let's see if I can make one. I don't know if you guys all know. I don't remember how to make the cootie catcher, really. I think it's a square. So let's take our paper here. I don't have my scissors anywhere near me, so it's not going to be perfect. Y'all know what a cootie catcher is. You remember? So you have a square, right? And then you, the way you do it, where you fold it, my son makes them, right? You fold it one way. I think you fold it the other way. Alright, then you make, I think you do it this way. I'm not positive, guys. That may be too small to make it. Right? And then you fold it. Right, again. The secret thing here. And I think you fold it in again. It's been a while since I made these. I could probably make my boxes better than I could make these. I make paper boxes. It's better if you make them with wallpaper or scrap paper, and they make actual boxes. But I haven't made those in a while either. I think that's how you do it. And then you fold them again. See, I'm not going to be able to do it. It's going to be too small. And then you put your little fingers in there, and you fold it again this way. Right? And then it makes it goes like this. Doot, 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 right? Okay, so it makes I didn't do it right. I failed. Anyway, so it would make a little flower-like thingy on the ends, and you'd put numbers on them. And then when you opened them up, this way, then when you opened them up, they would say other numbers, and you'd flip it again, and then you do it again, and then you'd open them up, and inside would be the name of the people that you would marry. How exciting! What was interesting to me was people quite frequently would purposely play these games in a way that it would always be the same person that would come up as the person they were supposed to marry. So they would convince themselves that it was going to happen. Before the yawn. So I wonder how many people would actually later on in life look back and say, I knew I was going to marry you because my marriage game always showed up. But what about all these people who later on in life came out open and said they were gay? Do they look back on their marriage? Did they play marriage games? You know, did they look back at them and say, that was just another time I was forced to be normal? I was forced, not normal, that's a bad word. I was, normal based on society, you know, because I didn't meet my first lesbian until I went to college. But I am thinking that there might have been a few of my friends that were, you know, but they weren't ever going to say they were because that was a big no. So, I was trying to think of other marriage games. We used to do jump rope ones too, where you would jump as many times you could. I can't remember any sing-song parts of it. Any of you have some that you remember? You should share with me. Here's my question though. I had guys that we played the marriage game with, who would give me the name of the girls they liked and stuff. But it was rare. And so I always wondered if, you know, it wasn't like I was in a position to ask guys, as a kid, how did you determine about marriage? Like, is that something that guys thought about, you know? Or did they not think about it till it was time to think about it? Like, society says there's a time when all of a sudden men are supposed to think about who they're going to get married. Women, at least for me, growing up, women were taught that since the moment they were born, that the number one thing they were going to do was get married. Everything else was secondary. And everything that you learned from your parents was pretty much to gear you into that position of normality. So I'm sure it was a big shock when a lot of people in the 80s decided that they weren't going in that direction. Though I found that looking back at people I knew that got married right out of high school or within 5 years of graduating from high school, Many of them had said they were going to leave and never did. That's what they did. They fell in love and they got married. So they kind of played out that whole psychological kind of thing. So this one's kind of short. It was just like I said, somebody asked me the question on my Facebook, and I thought, that's kind of an interesting. That would be an interesting question to talk about as the Vixen. So next week will be a topic vlog. Sorry, brain's not working well today. I'm a little quit drinking the caffeine, so I don't have that drive, fast, go, pump, 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 pump. I don't have it. So I am currently working on the animation that I've been working on for a year. I am really almost done now. I started drawing the little figure that's going to be fighting at the end. This animation is for Olmec Reaper. Whether he uses it or not, that was I just thought it was kind of a cool idea, and he was the person that was most receptive to the idea. And then I'm also working on Level Down's animation, and I have a new animation because I have stories that I want to do, and I'm just putting this on the end here real quick because I have the time. I have stories lined up that I want to do for animation, but I also need to get some new intros going on. So I'm going to be doing a streaming intro, and there's going to be this really cool thing going on after my intro. I haven't even thought of how I want my intro to look. And then there's going to be an outro going on, and you guys will all have, it'll take a while for those to get done. And then I'm going to do all my intros for each of my channels. So video intros, animation intro. I have to come up one for Wild Rhyme Time Studios. I haven't thought of what I want to do with that. Though I think I'd just do a basic drop letter kind of thing, because it's such pretty letters, and I think I could come up with some really fantastical ones. So that's what I'm working on. I'm going to start working on getting a chat game and a chat bot up in both channels. But that's a slow thing, because actually I don't, it's kind of boring to me. It takes me a while to keep it in my head, and so I slow up on it. And then all the other things I'm working on, I'm still working on. That's just how it is. I'm slow. And there's just days that the fibromyalgia is bad. There's just days the mental health is bad. And there's just days that staying in bed seems like a grand idea. Alright, so that's it. I'm out of here. Catch you all on the flip side. Peace. And hope you guys have a great rest of the year, day, afternoon, evening, whenever you see this.